The Partridge Family, 1970 to 1974. Cast, then and now, 2026. The Partridge Family ran for just 4 seasons, but the faces behind those family harmonies went on to live lives packed with fame, heartbreak, shocking headlines, and quiet reinventions. Here's where they all ended up. Number 1, we have Shirley Jones as Shirley Partridge. Shirley was the emotional anchor of the entire show, the warm, unshakable mom holding 5 kids and a touring rock band together through all 96 episodes from 1970 to 1974. When the cameras first rolled, she was already 36 years old and already a certified Hollywood legend. She had won the Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for Elmer Gantry, a full decade before the Partridge bus ever hit the road. Stepping into a family sitcom was a deliberate choice, not a stepping stone. On the personal side, her marriage to Jack Cassidy, David Cassidy's real-life father, ended in divorce in 1974, the same year the show wrapped. She later remarried comedian Marty Ingalls in 1977, and the two remained together until his death in 2015. In 2013, she released a candid memoir that shocked fans with its honesty about her personal life. Now in 2026, Shirley Jones is 91 years old, still sharp, still celebrated, and still one of the most decorated actresses of her entire generation. Number 2, we have David Cassidy as Keith Partridge. Keith was the dreamy, guitar-slinging frontman every teenager had plastered on their bedroom wall. And David Cassidy was just 20 years old when the show launched in 1970. The fame that followed was unlike almost anything Hollywood had seen before. He wasn't just a TV star. He was a full-blown pop phenomenon, selling out arenas worldwide and generating hysteria that rivaled the Beatles at their peak. But the pressure behind all that told a very different story. David battled alcohol addiction for much of his adult life and was married 3 times, most notably to actress Kay Lentz and later to Sue Schifrin, with whom he had a son. His daughter, actress Katie Cassidy, eventually followed him into the spotlight. In 2017, David publicly revealed a dementia diagnosis that devastated fans worldwide. He passed away just months later on November 21, 2017, at 67 years old from liver failure. His legacy as one of the greatest teen idols in television history remains completely untouched. Number 3, we have Danny Bonaduce as Danny Partridge. Danny was the fast-talking, scheme-hatching, red-haired middle kid who always had some angle working, and audiences absolutely loved him for it. He was just 11 years old when the Partridge Family launched in 1970, already a natural performer, with instincts most adult actors spend years trying to develop. But life after the show hit some genuinely rough patches. After the series ended, Danny struggled publicly with drug addiction and homelessness, and several run-ins with the law kept him in the tabloids for all the wrong reasons. He was remarkably open about his struggles, never hiding from the messier chapters of his story. He eventually rebuilt through a long, successful radio career and regular reality television appearances. He has been married multiple times, most recently to Amy Railsback in 2010. Then in 2024, he revealed he was battling a serious, undiagnosed neurological condition affecting both his walking and speech. Now in 2026, Danny Bonaduce is 66 years old, still fighting and still refusing to go quietly. Number 4, we have Suzanne Crough as Tracy Partridge. Tracy was the sweet, tambourine-shaking youngest Partridge kid, always in the background, always smiling, always adding quiet warmth to every family scene. Suzanne Crough was only 7 years old when filming began in 1970, one of the youngest faces on that entire set. After the show wrapped in 1974, she made a clear and deliberate choice to walk away from Hollywood completely. She got married, raised a family, and built a career in retail management, a world entirely removed from studio lights and sound stages. She avoided the reunion circuit almost entirely, giving very few interviews over the years and appearing perfectly content with the private life she had carefully built. Sadly, Suzanne Crough passed away on April 27, 2015, at just 52 years old. The cause was cardiomegaly, an enlarged heart. Her passing was sudden and deeply shocking to fans and former castmates alike, a quiet and heartbreaking loss of someone who had brought genuine sweetness to millions of living rooms. Number 5, we have Dave Madden as Reuben Kincaid. Reuben Kincaid was the long-suffering, perpetually exasperated manager of the Partridge Family band, forever caught somewhere between chaos and contractual obligation. Dave Madden played every frazzled, defeated moment with pitch-perfect comic timing, and his chemistry with the entire cast gave the show a comedic backbone it absolutely depended on across all 96 episodes. When the series started, Dave was already 38 years old, well known to television audiences from his earlier work on Rowan and Martin's Laugh-In, where he had built a strong reputation as a sharp ensemble performer. After the Partridge Family ended, he continued working in television and stage productions, though he never quite recaptured the same cultural visibility that Rubin had given him. His later years were spent largely out of the public eye, away from the Hollywood circles he had once moved through comfortably. Dave Madden passed away on January 16, 2014, at the age of 82 from kidney failure, leaving behind perfectly calibrated comic work that still holds up beautifully today. Number 6, we have Brian Forster as Chris Partridge. Chris was the dependable, easygoing middle Partridge boy, always somewhere in the mix of whatever the family was getting into that week. Brian Forster stepped into the role at the start of Season 2, holding it solidly for 71 episodes right through to the show's final season in 1974. He was just 11 years old when he joined the cast in 1971, but he carried a fascinating piece of history onto that set that most people never knew about. Brian Forster is the great-great-grandson of Charles Dickens, one of the most celebrated writers in the history of the English language. After the series ended, Brian walked away from acting almost entirely and discovered a passion that couldn't have been further from Hollywood. He became a racing car driver, trading studio sets for the speed and adrenaline of the track. He has made occasional appearances at fan events over the years. Now in 2026, Brian Forster is 66 years old, living a life the show never could have predicted for him. Number 7, we have Jeremy Gelbwaks as Chris Partridge. Before Brian Forster ever set foot on set, there was Jeremy Gelbwaks, the original Chris Partridge, appearing in 25 episodes during the show's very first season in 1970. Jeremy was just 9 years old when he stepped onto that set for the first time, a young kid thrown into one of network television's most watched new shows of the year. He held the role for the entirety of Season 1 before quietly disappearing from the series, and the reason behind it had nothing dramatic attached. His father's job required the family to relocate, and that was simply that. No conflict, no falling out, just real life pulling a child actor in a completely different direction. After leaving the show, Jeremy never returned to acting and instead built a career in the technology sector, working in IT for his adult life. Now in 2026, Jeremy Gelbwaks is 64 years old, one of the most private former cast members of the entire series, rarely surfacing at events or giving interviews of any kind. Number 8, we have Rick Segall as Ricky Stevens. Little Ricky Stevens was brought onto the show during its 4th and final season in 1973. A toddler-sized burst of fresh energy designed to give the series a spark as it headed into its final stretch. Rick Segall was just 5 years old when he appeared on screen, making him easily one of the youngest performers ever featured on the show. He appeared in 10 episodes that final season, bringing a natural, yet completely unscripted charm that only a child that age can genuinely pull off in front of a camera. After his brief Partridge Family run, he picked up a handful of additional television appearances as a child actor before the roles dried up, the way they so often do for child performers once they age out of that particular window of appeal. Rick then stepped away from entertainment completely and has spent his adult life well out of the public eye. Now in 2026, Rick Segall is 58 years old, and for most fans, Little Ricky remains one of the sweetest, most fleeting memories from those final episodes. Number 9, we have Gordon Jump as Albertson. Gordon appeared in 7 episodes of The Partridge Family between 1970 and 1974, cycling through small supporting roles that gave almost no hint of what was coming. He was 38 years old during those appearances, a working character actor grinding through guest spots on whatever shows would have him, he quietly building something bigger. Nobody watching those episodes would have predicted what happened next. In 1978, he landed the role of Arthur Carlson on WKRP in Cincinnati, and became one of the most recognizable faces on American television almost overnight. The show ran 4 seasons and turned him into a genuine household name. He also spent years as the face of Maytag Appliances, playing the lonely repairman in one of the longest-running commercial campaigns in advertising history. He was known throughout his career for his warmth and deep faith as a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Gordon Jump passed away on September 22, 2003, at 71, following a long battle with respiratory illness. Number 10, we have Elaine Giftos as Bonnie Kleinschmidt. Bonnie Kleinschmidt appeared across 4 episodes in 1972 and 1973, and Elaine Giftos brought her to life with a natural, easy charm that made the character feel like a genuine part of the Partridge world. She was 27 years old during her time on the show, a young actress already building up a solid list of television credits. She had landed a notable role in the 1970 Roger Corman film, Gas SSS, which gave her some early Hollywood visibility before the Partridge Family came along. After her run on the show, her screen appearances became less frequent as the decade progressed, and she eventually stepped away from the industry without much public fanfare. She has remained one of the most private members of this entire cast. Almost no personal information is publicly available about her relationships or personal milestones. Now, in 2026, Elaine Giftos is 81 years old, and she remains one of the genuine mysteries of the Partridge Family story. Number 11, we have Gary Dubin as Punky Lazar. Our Punky Lazar was one of those recurring supporting characters who showed up just enough times to stick in your memory. And Gary Dubin played him across 6 episodes between 1971 and 1974 with exactly the loose, easy teenage energy the role needed. He was around 14 years old when he first appeared on the show, already a working young actor who had racked up appearances across multiple series, including a notable part in the 1968 show Here Come the Brides. After the Partridge Family wrapped, he continued picking up television roles through the mid-1970s before his screen work gradually wound down and stopped altogether. The years since have seen him retreat almost entirely from public life, rarely turning up in cast reunion events or fan conversations. Very little is publicly known about his personal life or what direction his adult years took him. Now, in 2026, Gary Dubin is 69 years old, a face longtime fans instantly recognize, even if the name takes a moment longer to place. Number 12, we have Rosemary DeCamp as Grandma Amanda Renfrew. Grandma Amanda brought real warmth and old-world elegance to her 4 appearances between 1970 and 1973, and Rosemary DeCamp delivered every moment with the effortless ease of someone who had been doing this for decades, because she genuinely had. By the time she stepped onto the Partridge Family set, she was already 59 years old, carrying a Hollywood resume stretching all the way back to the early 1940s. She had appeared alongside James Cagney, Cary Grant, and Ronald Reagan long before television became the dominant medium, making her one of the most quietly durable performers in American entertainment history. She was the kind of actress that producers called when they needed someone dependable, someone who would show up, know her lines, elevate the material, and never cause a moment of trouble. Rosemary DeCamp passed away on February 20, 2001, at the extraordinary age of 90. Leaving behind one of the longest and most respected careers in Hollywood character acting history. Number 13, we have Bruce Kimmel as Richard Whipple. Bruce appeared in 5 episodes across 1971 and 1973, playing rotating small characters including Richard Whipple and Freddie, the kind of supporting work that keeps a young actor busy while they figure out their next move. He was 23 years old during those appearances, already thinking well beyond acting alone. When the cameras stopped rolling on his Partridge Family days, he made a decisive pivot into writing, directing, and producing across film, television, and theater. He built a particularly strong reputation in stage production, writing and directing numerous theatrical productions that earned genuine industry respect. He also worked extensively as a record producer, adding yet another creative discipline to an already diverse portfolio. And what makes his story compelling is how completely he transformed a handful of minor TV appearances into a launching pad for a rich multi-decade career behind the scenes. Now in 2026, Bruce Kimmel is 78 years old, almost certainly the most creatively prolific and surprising member of this entire supporting cast. Number 14, we have Mitzi Hoag as Miss Farrow. Mitzi played Miss Farrow and a handful of similar roles across 4 episodes spread throughout the show's full run from 1970 to 1974. She was 37 years old when she first appeared, already a seasoned television actress who had spent the 1960s accumulating guest spots on some of the era's biggest shows, including The Andy Griffith Show, My 3 Sons, and Room 222. She had a natural, understated quality on screen that made every character she played feel immediately grounded and real, even when the part lasted only a few minutes. The casting directors loved her reliability. She could walk into any scene and elevate it without ever overshadowing the leads. After her television work gradually slowed, Mitzi stepped away from the industry and lived quietly out of the public eye for her remaining years. She passed away on November 22, 2018, at the age of 86. A deeply reliable fixture of classic American television who deserved far more recognition than she ever received. Number 15, we have Susan Dey as Laurie Partridge. Laurie was the sharp, principled older sister of the Partridge family. Always thoughtful, always grounded, always the voice of reason in the middle of whatever chaos the week had delivered. Susan Dey played her across all 96 episodes starting in 1970, and here's what still surprises people. She was just 17 years old when filming began and had never acted a single day in her life before landing that role. She was a model who walked onto that set completely cold and made Laurie feel completely real. Behind the scenes, though, the sudden overwhelming fame took a serious toll. Susan has spoken openly about developing anorexia during her teenage years on the show, a painful battle that unfolded entirely under the public gaze. She rebuilt brilliantly, winning a Golden Globe for L.A. Law in the late 1980s, and completing one of television's most impressive reinventions. She married producer Bernard Safransky in 1988. Now in 2026, Susan Dey is 73 years old and has stepped away from public life almost entirely, which somehow makes her story the most intriguing one of all.